channel, or if you're new here, my name is Jess. What's up? So today I want to go ahead and film my Midyear Freakout tag. I honestly haven't read that many books this year, so I think I've read about 25, which I know to some people is a lot. So I wanted to go ahead and do this tag and kind of wrap up so far how I'm doing and plans that I have for the rest of the year, what I'm looking forward to. So yeah, let's go ahead and just get started. So the first question on here is best book you've read so far in 2017, and that would be Sleeping Giants by Sylvain Neuvel. I know I'm butchering his name, I'm super sorry, but this book was probably the best that I've read this year because it was so unexpected. I thought that it was absolutely wonderful. I thought that it was super intriguing. I thought the story was really great. The cliffhanger that it left on was also really great. I have the second one in the mail on its way to me, so hopefully by the time this video is up, I also have that, and I'm currently reading it because I could not get enough of this book. I absolutely ate it up. I thought it was really unexpected and just super, like I said, intriguing and interesting, and I just really liked it. And I knew nothing about it going into it, and I'm really glad I didn't because it was like shock after shock after shock. And definitely, if you have not read this, you should add this to your TBR. You should read it. It is an adult book. It is not a YA book, but it is more of the sci-fi genre. And yeah, like I said, it's very interesting and definitely worth the read if you haven't read it. Alright, number 2 is best sequel you've read so far this year, and that would be Akamav. Honestly, I didn't read the Throne of Glass series or the A Court of Thorns and Ruins series until this year, so A Court of Mist and Fury was very hard to top when it comes to sequels that I have read. Obviously, I'm going to be reading more sequels the rest of the year, we'll see, but honestly, when it comes to book 2 of any series, I think that this will forever be the best one that I have ever read. This was such a strong book. The characters are amazing. Obviously, a lot of people have read these, so if you read these, you know. If you haven't, you need to. I have never read such a strong book 2 in a series, and this will forever have a very special place in my heart. The next one on here is new release you haven't read to but you want to. This is Roar by Cora Carmack. I'm really excited to read this. This is on my July TBR, so hopefully I do finish it this month. We actually got this in our fairy loot, and it is highly recommended by one of my best friends, so I am really looking forward to reading this. This is more elemental. I don't know if it's like sci-fi or dystopian. I'm trying to avoid spoilers for it, but like I said, my friend said this was really great. It's been getting really good reviews from everyone that I've seen that has read it, that I follow on like Instagram and YouTube and things like that, so I'm really excited to go ahead and read this one. It seems like a really short read, like a quick read, so I'm also really excited about that. Be kind of in a reading slump a little bit, so I'm looking forward to something that's just pretty quick to get through. So number 4 is most anticipated release for the second half of the year, and that would be Language of Thorns, Midnight Tales of Dangerous Magic by Leigh Bardugo. Obviously I have the reader's copy. It only has the first 3 stories in it, and I really loved them, so I'm looking forward to reading the full book. The art in this is stunning. The stories are also very cool, so this is definitely something that I am looking forward to, especially since, like I said, I've already read essentially the first half of it, so it's like reading the first half of a book and setting it down. So my anticipation for the full book is through the roof. Now I'm also going to go ahead and include Tower of Dawn here just because that is also a book that I'm really looking forward to in the second half. Now I used to love Chaol. He used to be my favorite character in Throne of Glass. He used to be him and Selene used to be my OTP, but obviously things have changed a little bit, but I am really looking forward to reading a standalone Chaol book because I feel like Sarah absolutely wrecked him in the last book. Like, she made him look like a complete asshole, and I just know in my heart of hearts that's not how Chaol is. So I'm looking forward to reading a book that is just about him and getting back to everybody loving my baby, because honestly, like, other than Rowan, he is my favorite character in that entire series, and I feel like people just kind of turn their backs on him, and that makes me really sad because I think that he's a wonderful character. So I really want to read Tower of Dawn just because I need a little bit of redemption for my baby Chaol. Alright, number 7 is biggest disappointment. Now honestly, I haven't really read any books that I'm super disappointed with. I haven't like DNF'd anything. I haven't, just stopped reading any books recently this year. But I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Akawar. I was slightly disappointed in this just because with A Court of Mist and Fury, like a follow-up to A Court of Mist and Fury, I don't think anything was ever going to top that. I feel like the ending, the first bits of it were very slow, sort of hard to get into. Obviously, I was still into it, but not as much as I was expecting myself to be. Now, the last bit of this book, the last third of it was really amazing. I do like all the war and things that happened in it. However, I did feel like the ending was super rushed. I didn't necessarily want terrible things to happen, but just the ending of this book was not what I was expecting. I am relieved at the ending, but I wish this could go on just because I feel like this was a very weak ending to a series, and I kind of feel like there was more that could have happened. I thought this could have gone on for like 4 books, but It's okay. I still did really enjoy it. It just was probably the most disappointing book that I read this year. Alright, so number 6 is Biggest Surprise, and that would be Daughter of the Pirate King by Trisha Levenseller. This is a surprise for me because I didn't think that I was going to love it as much as I did. It had a lot more substance than I thought it was going to have, and also it was a pretty quick read. It was definitely one of those books you just sit down and read for a couple of afternoons and finish. I loved the story, I love the main character, I love all of the characters in this book really. I thought it was fun and fast-paced and very interesting. There was a little bit of lulls here and there, some story gaps here and there, but overall this is definitely the biggest surprise for me just because I thoroughly enjoyed this book, and honestly I don't really enjoy pirates, I'm not really into that genre, but with a strong female lead character, this is honestly just the most surprising book that I read this year. Like I said, I just really loved this book. I read it in a day, that's how much I loved it. Like I stayed up all night reading it, had to know how it ended, and I absolutely loved it. Now number 7 is favorite new author, and I don't know if that means like new author to the scene or my favorite new author, but I'm just going to go ahead and go with my favorite new author, and that would be V.E. Schwab. I haven't gotten to read this book yet. This is one of her YA books. This is The Savage Song, and the second one did just come out. I haven't read this one yet, like I said, but I have read the entire Shades of Magic trilogy and absolutely loved it. I think everything so far that I've read by Victoria is wonderful, and also she's the sweetest person you will ever meet. Like, she is, oh my god, I could listen to her talk for like hours and hours and hours. But, so she is not just my favorite author, but probably my new favorite person this year. I think that she is absolutely wonderful. If you haven't read anything by her, you should. Like I said, she does have both adult and YA, so she does cover both if you are interested in either of them. But yeah, definitely my new favorite author this year, Victoria Schwab. Number 8 is Newest Fictional Crush. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and say it, I love Cassian. I know everyone's all on Az and everyone's all on Rhysand, but I really love Cassian. For some reason, reading him, I know this is gonna sound super cheesy and really lame, but he reminds me of my husband. He is, you know, just like sassy and super muscly and really sexy in my mind. But for some reason, Cassian, just like the way he jokes, the way he plays around, but also the way he just gets shit done, he really appealed to me. I'm gonna go ahead and say Cassian, and probably for the wrong reasons. I know I'm supposed to pick somebody like, you know, that I just love because they're a great character, but honestly I just really love Cassian because I think that he's fucking adorable. Alright, number 9 is newest favorite character, and that would be Sierra from Carve the Mark by Veronica Roth. I cannot put into words how much I love her. I think I love her so much because she's a character that is in constant pain, both physical and mental, and that really appealed to me because that's sort of how I live my life. I am in a lot of physical and mental pain every day, so I just really loved her character. I loved her character development. I loved just the way that she thought, how cool and calm she was sometimes, just really how she got shit done if she needed to. I just really loved Sierra, and this is another book that shocked me that I read this year that I've heard good things about it. I've heard, you know, there's a lot of controversy surrounding this book, but for me, this was definitely one of my favorite reads for 2017, and I'm looking forward to a second one if there is going to be a second one. I imagine there will be, but yeah, Sierra in Carve the Mark, if you haven't read this, she's a wonderful character. She's been through a lot, and there's a lot of redemption for her in this book, and I really like stories like that. I just think this was overall a very enjoyable book. I don't know why this question is on here because who wants to remember this, but number 10 is Book That Made You Cry, Empire of Storms by Sarah J. Maas. If you haven't read this, if you're not to this, if you're reading the Throne of Glass series and you haven't gotten to this book, prepare your body because it is probably the saddest book I've ever read. The ending of this book just crushed me, and the fact that I have to wait God knows how long for the next one, I just can't. I can't do it. I know that there is obviously the K.O. book that is coming out soon, but I don't think that these characters are going to be in here, and I don't know how much of the continuation of this story we're going to have in that story. I've heard it's just about K.O. and his healing and things that are going on with him, so I am really sad that I'm going to have to wait super long time to figure out what actually happens to my babies in this book. But this book, I bawled my eyes out like way more than once. This is a book that I actually threw across the room a couple of times. I sort of do that when I get really sad. I know it's horrible, but this book, oh my god, this book was a roller coaster. Number 11 is Book That Made You Happy, and that would be Strange the Dreamer by Lainey Taylor. This book was amazing. I loved the world. I want to live inside this world. I also love Strange, Laszlo Strange, the main character of this book. I think that this was fantastical and magic, and it was just, oh my god, it was so beautiful. It was so beautifully written. The world was beautiful, even with its ups and downs, even with its ugly parts. But I just really loved this book, and even though it took me months to read it, this is definitely a book that made me continuously happy while I was reading it. Alright, number 12 is favorite book to movie adaptation you saw this year, and honestly, I didn't see any. I didn't see a one. And number 13 is favorite review that you've written this year. Honestly, my blog is dead. But I plan to bring it back this month, hopefully. I've been trying to get back into reading and writing reviews. Like I said, I was working a lot and now work is slowing down, so I should have more time to go ahead and get back on that. If you guys want to follow my blog, even though I'm not updating it currently, but I plan to soon, it is down in the down bar. Number 14 is most beautiful books that you have bought this year, and some of these were gifted to me and then the other half that I also bought. I have 6 of these, but they are special edition prints of a bunch of different books. This one is a gothic and fantasy collection, and then this one is obviously the Lovecraft short stories all combined into one. I do have things like H.G. Wells, the dystopian ones, a little bit of sci-fi, but these are gorgeous. I think that they are, first off, they're really hard to photograph because they're a little bit shiny, but they're beautiful to have on your shelves. They do seem like leather-bound books, although they aren't leather because I am cruelty-free. I don't buy leather-bound books, but these are beautiful, and like I said, they display so nicely on a shelf, so I absolutely love these, and these are definitely the most beautiful books that I've been both gifted and purchased this year. And number 15 is what books do you need to read by the end of the year, and that would be Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom. Obviously I need to read those. I want to read Tower of Dawn before the year ends, and I do want to finish up What I Own by Victoria Schwab or V.E. Schwab. I want to read the rest of her works, as well as picking up the second for the Savage Song. I cannot remember the name of it off the top of my head. I'm also really bad with names of books, so bear with me. And then I also do want to finish my Michael Crichton collection. I do love Michael Crichton. I love Pirate Latitudes. I absolutely love Jurassic Park and The Lost World. I just really like everything that he's written so far except for Prey. Prey was a little bit hit or miss for me. Being a Michael Crichton fan and reading Michael Crichton's books, obviously I was able to get through it because I am just familiar with his writing, but if you haven't read anything by him, I wouldn't start with that one. He does have a new book out currently that he wrote posthumously. I believe it's his son that's actually writing them or publishing them as him. I'm unsure sort of how that works, like how that happens. Also, there's a book by Stephen King and Owen King, which is the sister book to this right here, and I absolutely loved this. I, as you know, love Stephen King. Because if you're familiar with Stephen King, he does release like 3 or 4 books a year, so I do want to pick up and read every single thing that he has written. I've been so into YA recently that I actually did not get his most recent book, which breaks my little heart, but I do need to just go ahead and order it. It's only available in hardcover right now, which is fine because all my Stephen King books are hardcover except for the few paperbacks that I have. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to reading the second one of this as well as anything else that he releases. So that is it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video in my mid-year freakout. I have so many plans for the rest of the year, so many books that I want to read. Like I said, I do want to get back into reading. It is my #1 life goal to own a library, and my #1 life goal really to read every single book that I own. If you are an avid reader, you do understand that you tend to buy books faster than you can read them, and I have about 50% of my books that I still haven't read, so I want to go ahead and read those. I just have so many plans of things that I want to do this year, and books that I want to read, and reviews that I want to write, and videos that I want to film, and I feel like sometimes my goals get bigger than what I'm actually able to accomplish while working full-time doing YouTube and trying to do Instagram. It can be a little bit daunting. But like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys have a good week. Bye!